It is seeking to introduce 22 new sections by amendment, and then it also wants to have 28 new sections inserted into the bill. So in all, 50 new provisions.
First of all, I think that as a country, it is right for us to be concerned about the evolution of technology and, of course, the benefits that come with it, but also the challenges that we can have. We certainly should be concerned about the crimes that can often be perpetrated online. We certainly have to be concerned about situations where people use digital platforms to incite violence. We've had communal violence in this country that, to a large extent, if you ask people involved, they will tell you that they strongly believe that the influence of social media, in inflaming the conflict has been so significant. And so certainly as a country, and people lose money all the time through cyber fraud and all of that. People go behind the scenes, create anonymous, identities online and use it to stalk people, use it to either attack people, to threaten people. I remember an incident where somebody wrote to, Manasseh threatening him, and the case was reported to, the Cybersecurity Bureau of the Ghana Police Service. Until date, nothing has happened and all of that. So I'm raising all these to say that it is important that as a country, we take steps to see how we address some of these challenges. And of course, the whole question about mis and disinformation is a phenomenon that is getting global attention, and nobody has been able to identify the most appropriate responses to it. The digital companies started with this whole thing about fact-checking. Increasingly, we are being told that it is not the most effective way to respond to, the phenomenon of mis and disinformation. As we speak in the Sahel region, where we have these coup d'etats, there's a lot of concern about how mis and disinformation is being used to prop up certain leaders or to push certain narratives and all of that. But having said that, I think, Samson, the draft that I have seen is a terrible one. And I don't know why any people would think that as a democratic state, we should have a piece of legislation like this that basically grants discretionary powers to the minister, to the authority, to basically do anything, to snoop on it, to basically intrude if they want, if they choose to.
And we'll be happy as you speak if you can refer to specific portions rather than general.
Yes. Yes. Let me just refer you to, and there are several. So, for example, if you look at, you lawyers call it Section 35, right? So where it talks about the minister may, on the advice of the authority, designate a computer system or computer network as a critical information infrastructure. If the minister considers that the computer system or computer networks is essential for national security, it's understandable, the economic and social well-being of citizens, a bit controversial. What does that mean? If you say a network is essential for the economic and social well-being of the citizens. I think what we are doing here, what multimedia does, is certainly of the economic and social well-being of the citizens. But if you come to subsection...
Which provision have you just looked at? Proposed provision is that?
So what is number 35, 35.1?
Okay. Right.
So if you come to the subsection 3 of that, the minister shall, in making making a determination under subsection 1, where the minister is empowered to designate a computer network as a critical information infrastructure, consider the following. And part of the consideration is if whatever is being done affects an international business or communication or affects a citizen of Ghana or any other international business in which a citizen of Ghana or the government of Ghana has interest. I mean, how do we ensure that this is done? Then there is another one that says any other services determined by the minister on the advice of the authority. This is quite vague. The authority, if they choose to say, okay, what multimedia is doing, we don't like it, they come here and say, okay, we have designated your computer systems as a critical national infrastructure because what you do affects, the well-being of our citizens. It has implications on international business, local businesses, the economic activities of people, and all of that. But I think what is even more worrying, which I've actually highlighted in red, is down there where we have Section 59D inserted. So this is number 26. It says the principal enactment is amended by the insertion after 59C of 1, application for production order to collect computer data. And it says 59D, an investigative officer. And remember that the amendment now empowers folks at the Cybersecurity Authority to have the powers of the police, and to prosecute and to arrest, all of that.
The current law, they already have inspectors.
Yes.
Except they do not have the powers of the police.
Yes, okay. But now this is granting them those powers. And then it says what? An investigative officer may apply ex parte. And I believe that is what you normally would say, they go on your blind side. So even without your notice, ex parte to the High Court for a production order to collect computer data. Then it lists some of a production order under this section shall require
There's something I wanted you to pay attention to.
Yes.
The first provision you read, which you have highlighted, which you don't like. The current provision, Section 35, designation of critical information infrastructure. It reads, the minister may, on the advice of the authority, designate a computer system or computer network as a critical information infrastructure. You see the same wording?
Yep.
If the minister considers that the computer system or computer network is essential for A, national security, or B, the economic or social well-being of citizens.
Yeah, but there are several others now added. And I'm saying these are fundamentally vague, and it grants discretionary powers. If a minister, and the minister on the advice of the authority, I think that is just some wording. If the minister decides to act, basically on the advice of the authority. And then you have what I was reading, where an investigative officer makes an application under Section 1. That investigative officer shall, it talks about explain why he believes that he needs that ex parte, authorization granted for you to produce data. So what it means is that you can be here and then you receive a notice that your communication data is being requested, and the law criminalizes that if you decide not to grant it.
If you obstruct.
If you obstruct, not to grant it. And something I'm saying, you read it in entirety, and I don't know what informs the decision to go this way.
Do you know that presently, if your telephony records, if there's a suspicion that you're using your phone to do some act which is wrong, the police are allowed to go to court ex parte, as you find it here. That means on your blind side, without your knowledge.
The police?
Yes.
The police.
And they go, and the court grants them an order to go to the telco, MTN or whoever they are, and then they'll get your telephony record.
No, so that's why I kept repeating the police, the national, institute, the establishment that is supposed to fight crime, deal with crime, law enforcement, we all understand. But if we now grant another institution the powers of the police to be able to, go ex parte, seek, behind, get a court order without your knowledge.
Is it the suggestion?
Is it the suggestion? It says that.
Is it the suggestion that the police are prone to be more professional than officers of the cybersecurity office or the inspectors who are presently in the cybersecurity office?
No,
that one group can do mischief, but one group will not do mischief. Is that it?
No. If we begin to have a situation where in this country we have duplications of institutions doing the same thing with discretionary powers, I don't think that it is good for our democracy. I don't think that it's even good for national security itself. And that is why I think if we have a situation where the police can already do that, and the existing law can enable officers of the Cybersecurity Authority engage and partner with the police to say, look, this is what we are discovering. And that is why the police, I believe, has a cybersecurity unit. I mean, it is not for nothing that the police, as we have it, has a cybersecurity unit that deals with cybersecurity issues. And when these matters come and they have to go to the court to get ex parte authorizations and whatever, I think the cybersecurity unit will do that.
There are law enforcement bodies that have been giving police powers. You don't have any problem with that. You have the EPA that can do things. They have inspectors, all of these. What's the problem?
No, so you see, like I said, the police already has a cybersecurity unit. I'm not saying that, therefore, we shouldn't have the cybersecurity authority. If the cybersecurity authority is supposed to be an expert institution to be able to support investigations, identify issues, and work with the police cyber crime unit to deal with matters that come up, I don't have a problem. But to now have this piece of legislation drafted with, as I said, I mean, if we had a time to go through, because I've highlighted so many places, application for preservation of data.
No, that's small bits. And once again, remember that the guests will take a position and that will be adverse to the law. And my job is to read it and reflect back to them. It doesn't mean my views. You don't want to hear what my views are on this law. We just passed the Gold Board Act. And we have given the inspectors there police powers, go around and arrest people and do things.
Wow.
What's the difference?
No, but the fact that others are doing it doesn't make it right.
Okay.
That's my position. To now begin to have almost every institution having the powers of the police. I think that we will be creating chaos, anarchy, because you never know how an individual may want to act against you, especially if the person has those discretionary powers. And that, for me, is the problem. And I want to believe that this particular draft, as I said, and the problems that are in it, would be something that I believe those who are promoting it would sit down and then reflect on it and say, look, today it is you. But remember, tomorrow it can be used against you. Sometimes that is what happens. When people are in power, they feel, okay, well, we are in power, at my discretion I can do this or I can do that, but the next time it will be used against you.
Okay.
I don't think that as a democratic country, this is the kind of legislation that we must have in terms of dealing with the cyber security issues that we have. As I said from the beginning,
thinking you will go first
issues.
to the, media, practice linkages.
And there are so many, like I said. So if we are investigating something about a powerful minister or something, I mean, basically somebody goes to the court ex parte to say, look, these people, we suspect that they are doing something that is wrong. And basically you are ordered to produce your records. What it means is that even the issues of confidentiality of sources and all of that, you may not even have it anymore. Because once a court orders that your laptop must be produced, you produce it. And then everything in there can be viewed. I don't think that we should get that.
That can only happen if you are suspected as involved in a crime.
Exactly. But in this case, cyber crime could mean a lot. You are using your computer to snoop on somebody, or there is a suspicion that, you are stalking on somebody. There's a suspicion that you are using your computer systems to deal with child online protection issues. A lot of issues can be raised. And like I said, it is important we deal with the cybersecurity concerns that we have. But whatever piece of legislation we are introducing must be, as they say, justifiable, proportionate, and necessary.
Okay.